Hello everybody, welcome to a video. My name is Sam, and thank you so much for the last video that I done. What was the Day of Visibility? It was the Trans Day of Visibility video that I talked about, like, my experience with, like hatred towards the trans community in, like, the past year or so that I've been out. And it's just got worse over time. And today I wanted to sort of go along that topic, but talk about how I've had so much hatred towards myself throughout the years because of, like, whatever reasons. It's the case of, like, I realized that I was trans but didn't know what it was, and how the whole element of, like, that sort of pushed me to be so closeted that I was in Narnia. And it is the case of, like, don't get me wrong, throughout my years and my experiences and stuff, it has made me who I am today, including the enjoy of video games, and that I've had all these experiences and things that I might not have had if I came out as trans as early as I sort of started realizing that I might be trans, without sort of knowing what trans was. And the thing is, I questioned when I was very early on. It was not the case of, like, I questioned when I was, like, 15, 16, or 20, or whatever. I came out as trans when I was, like, 19, and before then, like, beginning of being 19, I came out as gender fluid, and now I'm 22. But it was the case of, for so long, I closeted myself, because between the ages of, like, 6 to 8, I questioned if I was meant to be a guy, because, of course, I was presenting as a guy and didn't know if that was right for me. And then I realized that, hey, I don't like being masculine, and I don't like the masculine stuff. And I don't know if it was because of things I experienced when I was youth and everything like that. I didn't see much good things with the masculine traits or anything. But it was the case of, I definitely questioned back then. And the thing is about that is I looked at a lot of it. I looked at deep voices. I didn't like deep voices. I still don't like my voice at the moment because I had to go through male puberty, and I have, like, a reasonably deep voice when it comes to everything. Luckily, I sort of have played it up for years and not worrying about it and stuff. And when you sort of, like, up it a little bit further, it sort of sounds sort of feminine. But I'm not quite there yet, and I need to do some vocal training. It's something that I definitely do want to do in the future. But yeah, when I questioned when I was, like, 6 to 8 years old, if I am a woman, if I am actually meant to be a guy or not, it made me question, and I came to the conclusion that I was probably meant to be a girl. And that gave me some, like, relief as such. But then I realized that, like, I've never heard of anyone like that. And what I done was went, oh, no one does that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and not tell my mum. And this turned into a position that I didn't tell my mum, but also I started hating on myself every time I thought about it, every time I even looked at something that was feminine and was like, I would love to be able to pull that off or anything. It was the case of I would sort of beat myself up over it. And this turned into hatred throughout many, many years, and even to the point that, like, throughout my school life and stuff, especially secondary school and stuff, when something went wrong, when, like, the latest girl that I was dating or whatever went wrong in any form of way, I would threaten myself in such a way that I'll be like, nope, I have to come out to my parents. And it was just not great. It was definitely not a great thing to do to myself, because hatred in any form of way towards anyone is not great. But when you hate yourself, it is the worst thing, because you can't move away from it. You can't do anything about it, because if you try and calm yourself down, you know the buttons to touch to be able to make yourself more upset. And for years, I just carried on with that. And luckily, I got diagnosed with depression. I still have huge depression spikes and things. It's the case of when I'm having severely bad days or weeks or months, I do get into spirals again and all that. That hasn't changed, apart from I get it a lot less frequent since I came out. One of the major things since I came out was I get to be myself a lot more, and I'm a lot more happy in general, and that's great, because I get to be myself. I get to actually finally live the life that I wanted to when I was the 6 or 7 or 8-year-old boy that was questioning himself. And I wish I came out a lot earlier. It's definitely a given, but it's also the case of I'm glad I came out when I did, because I don't know if I would have come out or been able to survive to come out. Because throughout many, many years, because of my depression, because of my threats towards myself and not wanting to come out, for years I was threatening my own life and even attempted to several times. And no one should be in that position to not like themselves that much that they turn around and attempt to do that. And some of my experiences when I was, say, just coming out of college and things, when I dropped out of college, was I sort of moved out when I was 18. The pandemic just sort of started coming down after the first wave. The second wave was just about to come, but I didn't realize that. And I moved out. I moved out into my own flat with my second partner that I had in adult life, and that was going all right for a while. And when it started going bad, because relationships occasionally go bad, it is the case of I started threatening myself again. And I realized that I've done it multiple times, and I started thinking about all the times that I've ever done it, and realized that I've been doing it since I can sort of remember. And the original reason I started threatening myself like that was because I was questioning about coming out when I was 6 to 8 years old to my mum. And that was the same threat that I've used for years. And that was not good. And this is where my eggs started cracking. It was the case of I started realizing, oh, I may not be completely. And I sort of put myself back in the closet. I went, nope, you're going back in. You're not coming out. And it was not till my next relationship that I was able to sort of start expressing myself a lot more. Throughout the years, that I have definitely realized is I started daring people to be able to make me wear feminine clothes and do all these different things. It was something that I done in college in at least my second year. And it was the case of I done it a few times and sort of just gave up because I didn't want to, I didn't want backlash from people. And the thing is, when my third relationship happened, it was the case of I sort of expressed myself a lot more. I started messing around with VR a lot, and VR is sort of one of the reasons that I sort of was able to not only calm myself down and do a lot for myself in general, even though I was spending a lot of time, don't spend as much time as I did when I was sort of closeted myself a lot more, because I was spending 8+ hours in VR a day, and I occasionally slept in VR. That was how bad it was. But to be fair, I didn't have really good sleep till after that point anyway. But it was the case of my partner at the time, my girlfriend at the time, she sort of saw me on things like Beat Saber and saw that I played Lady Gaga songs, and I would sort of swing myself around and do all of these different things, and even do single ladies and stuff in Beat Saber. And she sort of questioned if I was straight. That's what she questioned first of all, and I'm like, no, I like women. At minimum, I like women. It's the case of maybe I might experience something with a guy at some point, but it's not what I'm looking for, and I've never really been into that. And since then, I have experienced stuff with guys since after that relationship and stuff, and I can definitely say that I'm not really into guys. It's not sort of thing I'm good at it if I need to be, sort of thing, but it's something that I'm not really into. And they helped me, my third girlfriend helped me experience myself a lot more. She helped me pick out some clothes and stuff, and I came out as gender fluid to begin with, and they helped me express myself. And after a while, I think they started realizing that I was not gender fluid, and I was most likely a trans woman. And this is where I started realizing that I was a trans woman, because I didn't want to take off the feminine clothes. I would feel so happy in the feminine clothes that I just wouldn't take them off. It wasn't like what I'd done with my jeans because I wanted to cover up hairy legs or anything. It was euphoric. It was amazing. And because I fought across all of my experiences where I threatened myself previously, not coming out and stuff, I realized that eventually I might have to. And that put me a little bit in the closet again. But at the same time, my relationship sort of faded away and we broke up and everything. And because of that relationship, I was able to come out and everything. Like shortly after, I didn't remain gender fluid. I sort of solidified my gender and came out as a trans woman to my mum and started dressing femininely around everyone and came out to the rest of my family and stuff slowly over time. The family that I didn't see often, including my dad, they sort of learnt from Facebook because I turned around and said about it and changed my name and all this other stuff. And I'm glad that I did. It was the case of it was an experience, nonetheless. And I definitely would say to anyone who is questioning or anything, just explore it. At minimum, explore it. See how you're feeling after a week, a month, whatever. The thing is, it's better to come out as trans than turn around and harm yourself over what you're feeling. And the thing is, you might not be trans. It might be the case of, like, that's fine. It takes years to be able to do a transition anyway, and it's something that I'm still working on myself. And I'm glad that I'm now on hormones and things. It's definitely something that I've been looking forward to since I realised that I was trans, is the hormones and being able to have my own breasts and things. It's something that I am glad with my progress so far, and I hope that my progress keeps on continuing. But yes, sorry that you've just been seeing me collect all of this to be able to actually do everything whilst I talk about my sort of failures to be able to come out throughout many years. But if you want to see the progress at the moment, this is the progress so far. I'm doing the final layer, and then I got glass. I'm going to probably put water in it for the moment. And then we're going to be doing some Ender dragon fights to be able to fill out all of the 18 ones that we need left, because we got 2 of these at the current moment. There's one more over this way. There you go. You can sort of see it there. Oh, hello. But yeah, I would like to thank everyone for the last episode and everything and how well it done. But also, thank you so much for listening to me just ramble on about how my transition went throughout my life and things, and how I finally realised that I was trans. I might try and do a more in-depth video about this on the Trans Pride Southampton channel at some stage, or multiple videos to be able to explain all of it. But till then, thank you very much for watching or listening or whatever you've been doing, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.